Um, Hello everyone, welcome along to the first ever Her Huddle, a brand new show dedicated to celebrating the amazing women that we have in the NFL. I'm your host, Hannah Wilkes, and every episode we'll be bringing you a live conversation with amazing women who works across the NFL. These are inspiring women who have smashed through boundaries, raised the game, and made us all very excited to be part of this sport. We've got a great guest to start off with, not the lady you can see there just yet, we'll come to her in a moment, someone who many UK fans will already be very familiar with because you probably watch her every single morning on Good Morning Football and across the NFL Network. Kay Adams will be joining us in just a few moments, but Her Huddle isn't just about great stories from the other side of the pond. We also want to get those from our very own turf. So I'm going to be joined by a UK-based co-host every single week. And first up, we're going big to start with, from Ash and the NFL, Ash herself. Hello, welcome along. You're
Hi.
So far away, but yet so close. Now, you might just be the biggest Packers fan in the UK. I'd have been disappointed if you didn't turn up in some green and gold.
I know.
First of all, how big is your Green Bay wardrobe? I'm guessing at this point it probably had its own room.
Yeah, I think I could definitely start my own woman cave dedicated to Green Bay Packers, which is the dream. It is roasting hot in the UK today, but I was keen to represent. So I'm just going to power through the heat. But yeah, it's pretty big. It's getting bigger, which I'm very excited about. And we're moving on from kind of clothing as well. I've got like a little Green Bay Packers Brett Favre rug behind me as well.
Oh my God. Who knew that in the world?
No, I know, but I would love the crown of the biggest Packers fan in the UK. So if that could be certified at some point in my life, then I've definitely won. So perfect.
Ruthie Rascal just said, how is anyone wearing a jumper today? That is the level of her dedication.
My dedication, exactly.
Now, look, actually, this brings me very nicely to my next point. This is Instagram Live. We can see your comments coming on in. We would love to hear from you and get you involved in the conversation today, especially if you've got questions for Kay. It is peak fantasy football draft season. I've actually got a draft happening now. I managed to squeeze in my 3 first picks before we went live, which might be why we're a little bit late. But look, if you've got fancy questions for Kay or just any questions for Kay, get them coming in. If you've got a question for myself or Ash, ping them on over. It's a conversation. We're excited to have you all with us. Now, Ash, let's get to know you a little bit because you've been doing amazing TikTok videos and they're on Instagram too, for those of us who may be a little bit too old for TikTok. Tell me how you got into football.
I mean, my actual story is I was sat in a sports bar in Mallorca with just an old friend who themselves are kind of massive fans of American football, been in the NFL game for a really long time. And I was just keen to be a part of the conversation. And as kind of like a sporty female myself, I was just keen to kind of get involved. And one thing led to another, watched a couple of games and decided that I wanted to invest. So it was time that I picked a team and picked someone to follow rather than kind of just, focusing on kind of all the games on the weekend. I wanted to like dedicate myself and follow one particular team. And the Green Bay Packers happened. No regrets, have never looked back, despite some people always asking me, why the Packers? But yeah, it's just dead simple like that. I was just kind of keen to get involved with the conversation, be a part of, I've got, quite a big kind of guy friendship group as well, all NFL fans, just keen to kind of be involved, know what they were talking about as well. And I'm so happy that I kind of literally jumped in at the deep end, head first. And yeah, no regrets, haven't looked back since.
I do have a question on your Packers fandom. Is it full Packers fandom or would you have gone with Aaron Rodgers had he left this season?
Oh, no, okay. So I would have stayed with the green and gold. I would have stayed with the Packers. I would have been upset and probably went into mourning, would have just worn full black for at least a week. But yeah, no, definitely diehard Packers. Yeah, sadly. But yeah.
Hey, that's absolutely fine. The Packers are allowed here.
Yeah.
Look, I think we're close to letting our guest of honour in. I believe, there she is, right there. So anyone can see a rogue finger appearing on the screen right now. It is our tech wizard for the evening. But let's bring her in then, shall we? And bring in Good Morning Football's host with the most, the fantasy oracle, the queen of NFL fantasy, really, possibly the busiest woman in TV. I'm hoping she's about to pop up. Kay Adams, are you there?
Hold on.
She's moments away. She's moments away. Now, Ash, I know that this year you're getting into fantasy football for the first time. How have your drafts been going?
So my first one, a little bit of a hit and miss, to be honest. My second one, great. I'm really happy with my team in the second one. My third one, it's literally me and a whole bunch of Americans from one family. So, you know, if I can be the British girl that kind of beats them all and wins, you know, I definitely think that I can say I've done the UK kind of NFL scene proud on that one. So fingers crossed.
I'm impressed that on your first go at fantasy, you're in 3 leagues. That's some serious commitment, I've got to say.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the stress was very real. Going from kind of like 4-hour picks to like 1.5 minute picks with a regular day job as well. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely kind of leveled up, I think, on my NFL games. You know, I'm just so excited and just very competitive now. Very competitive.
You might have noticed, but whilst you were telling me that, I just slyly took a Jerry Judy is in, folks.
Oh, nice.
This year, that's for sure. Right, Kay's moments away, we think. We hope. I think she's there. Technology, eh? Oh, someone just pops up. Oh, I think I might be having a slight technical hiccup, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Ash, what's your reaction been to Ash in the NFL? Because it's Packers heavy, but you do some great videos and sort of breaking down the. You know what? I'll ask that later.
Can you guys hear me?
He's here. Hello.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
We can hear you loud and clear. We can see you as well. Kay, thank you for joining. You're our very first guest on Her Huddle. Welcome.
I'm so excited. Am I the first guest? I'm honored.
Guest of honor, that is for sure. Look, week 1, hours away now from this football season starting. Scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you?
I'm at 95,764.4. I'm so, I mean, we've been waiting. I got to tell you, I was at the U.S. Open last night. I was, you know, at Lambeau. I didn't get to go into the stadium. Then I got to do the Chiefs sideline. So to me, just the energy of these fans being back, a sense of normalcy. It's something we've all missed so dearly. And I almost feel like I took it for granted while I had it. So I'm just excited to see and take in and soak up as much NFL action as possible.
I know you've been doing some of the preseason games with the Chiefs as well. What's it been like being back there sideline with fans? Is it like, it must be another level, right? Because you barely got to a game last year either.
I didn't get to. I haven't been to a game since. I've not been to a real game since the Super Bowl in Miami. So it has been so long, and I don't usually do sidelines. So it's been so interesting to see also how the players miss the fans and how they're excited. And you have Patrick Mahomes. I mean, all he talked about to me through 3 weeks was, I want to get home. I want to get back to Arrowhead. I'm so excited about welcoming the Browns to town. He was trying to get the crowd going as much as possible. I even asked Coach Andy Reid about the crowd. Like, are they in mid-season form, or do you need a little more from them for the, you know, kickoff to the 2021 season? And he was like, I could use some more. So the energy was incredible, and it's something we can all love our teams and we can all hate our division rivals, but we all love football all the same, and that's why it's great.
Absolutely. Look, Kay, Her Huddle is all about the stories of women in the NFL. So I want to take you all the way back and find out what made you first love football when you were growing up in Chicago, which is obviously a big football town.
Yeah.
What was it about this game?
I think it was, you know, my parents aren't from America. They were born in Poland, and they moved to Chicago, which is, you know, the Bulls and the basketball was really big. But in school, even though the Bears were struggling, never really had a quarterback, it was all anybody talked about. It's a really great sports city. It's very important and sort of central to what the city is. And my brother was 2 years older than me, and we just wanted to talk and be cool with all of our American friends. And we decided this was the way, and we paid attention. And I grew up with football with really exciting players, really dynamic players that sort of got me into it, like Matt Forte and Devin Hester and those sort of characters. So it was really easy to sort of fall in love with them and fall in love with the Bears, despite not winning too often. And then there was, you know, the Jay Cutler era, and then fantasy football, honestly, probably was the biggest catalyst of how I got hooked. I think I'm competitive by nature, from board games to, you know, but my career to whatever. So fantasy football was such a great way to then learn about all these different people on different teams. So I think that's what really, if I were to say one thing that really got me in, was fantasy football.
Oh, nice. Hi, by the way. Lovely meeting and speaking to you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi. I mean, I'd love to know. I know you literally just said, obviously with your career as well. I mean, how did you get started in the world of journalism?
I went to the University of Missouri, and I worked a lot. I had to pay my way through school, and just took all these, random jobs that I convinced people to give me, like random shifts at the radio for country music, and got into whatever sort of way I could get on the air. And there wasn't really social media or a way to do your own material. But I remember very clearly being done with school and moving to St. Louis and just going and not going to the TV stations, the local ones in St. Louis, and saying, I'll create my own stuff. Don't even pay me. Just like use it on the internet. So like use wherever. And so I would go and I don't know how to edit. I taught myself. I mean, I didn't pay attention in school with that kind of stuff. So I taught myself, and I had my boyfriend like follow me around and video camcorder me going around places. And then I did the same thing with the Cardinals and with the Rams. I worked for that baseball team and the football team there in St. Louis, and just, it takes a lot of knocking and not convincing, but just like relentlessness. I think that sort of got me in the door. I wasn't afraid to ask.
Oh, that's so awesome. And I know obviously the Cardinals was one of like your first gigs. Was that just an amazing experience to have?
It was, because the Cardinals such a baseball town here in America. It's like one of the best ones, and I got to work there, and I got to be in this stadium full of people and feel the energy. It was so important to everyone, and such a sense of pride for everyone in that city. And I was there in 2011. It was my first gig out of school, and it was the year they won the World Series, and it was David Freese, and it was so fun to be around. I mean, once you have a championship team, then you crave that forever, right? You want that. And then I was lucky enough when I moved to New York, that I got to work for the Patriots, and I got to see the Patriots take down the Seattle Seahawks on that Malcolm Butler interception. So we were working and covering that team, so it was, basically I'm lucky. Basically, if you want to win a championship, hire me.
Always.
I love that. Right. Okay, I'm going to need you to give up Good Morning Football. Go back to the Rams, please. LA, you'll be fine up there.
I think you're a Rams fan, Hannah.
Yeah. Look, I know you mentioned fantasy football was a way that you really got hooked and learned more about the game. When was it that you realised, hold on, I love playing fantasy football, I'm good at fantasy football, and this is actually a way I can further my career? Because you've got, end up doing fantasy football live on NBC, right?
I was seeing what was going on while I lived in St. Louis with just companies wanting to involve fantasy football more, and it wasn't easy. I mean, so many people put in so much work to get fantasy football where it was, but so many people were playing. There was a disconnect with networks and stations and seeing how can we service the fans on a TV show or on the radio. And then there were some really innovative pioneers in the space. Rick Wolf, people in the FSTA, Stacey Stern, who's just got DraftKings and daily fantasy approved in the state of Arizona finally very recently. It's all very exciting stuff, and people did so much work for it. I came in at a good time where SiriusXM was launching they had an NFL channel. They wanted to do hey, you know what? People are in their car all the time. Let's talk fantasy football. I worked at a bar, Hannah, slinging drinks, just Guinnesses and PBRs and shots of tequila, and I would talk to guys about fantasy football, and one of my patrons was working, starting this show on SiriusXM, and he said, I think you'd be a great person to have as a newsreader or somebody to bounce ideas off of. And I said, okay, absolutely, I'll do it. Didn't know what I was getting into, got paid absolute peanuts, and somehow made it work with my schedule to the point that when all this innovation was happening, I got hired by NBC. And I didn't get hired. I didn't get hired to do fantasy football on TV. I got hired to read news updates for a minute on the radio in a booth by myself every night in Times Square for 2 years. I was like, yeah, I'll do it, whatever I can do. But during the day, I would take the train up to a different state, up to Connecticut, and I would knock on the doors and be like, we should put fantasy on TV. What if we did this? Can we do this? And you sort of have to convince a lot of people to make it happen, and that made it work. And I didn't do anything new, but it was a really good time for people who loved the idea of getting it. Now look where it is. It's running the show.
Yeah. I have been where you were with those knocking on those doors and doing things on your own in a random room and just making it work. It's worth it, right? I mean, look at you now, flying.
It is, but now it's so different, because I would empower anyone out there, man, woman, wherever you're from, whatever your upbringing, your background. you can create your own content. I'm so envious of that opportunity, and I'm so envious of people who are so much more creative and talented, and just they can do it all with creating stuff, or these sort of platforms and ideas that you had even for the show. I was like, we're doing this on Instagram Live. Like I can't even airdrop things on my iPhone, so I don't even like I'm so incapable of that. But it's really cool to see what the younger generation's doing.
Oh, amazing. I just want to say as well, so this is my first year doing fantasy, and I have been watching your little segments on Good Morning Football, which is just massive over here as well. I'm like, what does Kay think on like top wide receivers and quarterbacks? And I'm like, I'm going to use that, going to put it in. But I do love the little behind the scenes things that you show on like your Instagram stories as well with Good Morning Football. I mean, is it as fun as it looks, kind of working with the guys, working with the team, like early in the morning as well? Like it's early for you, so is it as fun as it looks?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna apologize to everyone. My hands on. So they need to make a left. They need to make a left-handed iPhone because I'm left-handed, and whenever I hold my phone, my pinky. Get mad at my pinky. Don't get mad at Apple. Not me. It covers the microphone. So I apologize. I will repeat whatever's necessary, or you guys can DM me. But now I'm holding it with my right hand, so we're good. I literally have to hold it in this one place or I will lose service in this building. What was I going to say? What were you, about Good Morning Football? I mean, we love, it's just like what you guys, it's work. It's not easy every day. I'm not going to lie and say that it is. I miss Nate a ton. I'm excited for what the future of the show looks like, of course. I'm a morning person by nature. And so that's never been a hard part for me. I think it's such a cool responsibility to sort of set the tone for the day. So, you know, over there, the show's in the afternoon. For us, it's in the morning. We wake up before the whole country does. We were up on the East Coast before anybody in California. So for us to take what's happened either the day before or overnight, or just that opportunity, like on this Friday morning after the Bucks win or lose to the Cowboys without Zach Martin, we get to be the first to take a bite out of that. You know, we get to say like, you know what, I'm going to guess what everybody's going to be talking about today. And we're going to really set the tone for what that's going to look like. I think it's a really big responsibility, and it's one that I take pretty seriously.
It's a great opportunity to set that agenda, right, as well. And I think what you guys say on that show, we all then find ourselves talking about. And you may be a morning person, but you get up crazy early. And I saw your Instagram story from earlier today of what your day looks like today. Can you talk us through like a day in the life of Kay Adams? Because you are a busy woman and yet you never look tired.
Yes, I do. I've learned more over the past 2 years, probably, that balance is more important. This isn't a woman thing. This isn't a man thing. It's just a mental health thing where I used to really just work. And now I still do that, but I won't do it at the cost of like my life. So for instance, last night I had the opportunity to go to the US Open. I got to watch Novak Djokovic. Of course, that was late. It was in Queens. It was far. It wasn't going to be easy to get home, and I wouldn't get much sleep for the show. But I planned my day, and like I just have to I've become a really good planner, which I was never before. And I know that like I need a nap at some point. I'm going to have to sleep really well. I didn't go out Saturday or Sunday. I did nothing. I got my stuff together because I knew I had a crazy week. And then last night I was like, okay, I can go to the Open for a couple of hours. Even though this morning I had to wake up. I woke up at 4, looked at some notes that I might have missed from last night. And then I had, people. I had interviews with will.i.am and Doja Cat and Steph Curry today, which was super fun. So it's a fun balance. But I know like tonight I'll be out like a light at 9 p.m. for sure.
Ash, can we just take a moment that we made that lineup as well? will.i.am, Doja Cat,
No, I know.
Steph Curry, and here we are.
I'm so excited to talk about you guys, but I don't like talking about myself. Tell me how excited you are for the season.
Oh, beyond. I literally feel like a kid at Christmas. I'm just like, is it Thursday yet? Is it Thursday yet? Of course,
yeah.
The first game for us is 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's already that balance of like, can I take a nap at this time? Can I make it the way through? Or do I go to bed and then set an alarm for 1 a.m. or do I get up in the morning? But that's the fun, and that's why we love it.
I don't understand how this, like, what drives you, Hannah? Like with this, like, because I can't, now I feel, I'm almost humiliated that I just talked about my schedule and my timing. You wake up and stay up at all times of the night. Like, how do you have any sense of normalcy?
So this is the thing, and I've actually been discussing this a lot with our amazing producer for this show, Annika, earlier. because we're both Rams fans, 1 a.m. Sunday night against your Bears. But there's this thing, I think for a lot of UK fans, it's like you must stay up for the games, and if you don't, you're not committed. I can't do what I need to do on a Monday morning if I've been up till 4 a.m. watching the game. I'll only have to rewatch it anyway or watch the highlights because I'll have been so brain dead by the end. So it's a bit of balance. So I sometimes will try and stay up and then maybe go to bed at halftime, watch the second half in the morning, like first thing, ignore the phone. But when it's a good game and it's what you enjoy, it's okay. But I'm trying to change the narrative. You're still a committed fan.
Yeah.
You don't watch it live and you just ignore your phone until you've caught that game in the morning. Because sometimes
it's definitely hard, but there's certain games where I know if we have a primetime game. I mean, I'd say the first year we did Good Morning Football, all of us just looked crazy because we stayed up and we look back, we were, when Nate was leaving, we went down memory lane and it was just, we all looked insane because we stayed up till midnight watching these games the whole way through because it's really hard to go to bed at halftime. These games are the primetime games, are the most compelling ones of the week. So it really has taken a lot to be like, you can wake up and it's the technology is so great now. As a great product like NFL Game Pass, which I'm sure NFL UK fans love, where you can access all of the games, all of the footage, the condensed game at half an hour in the morning. If I can get up and I can, watch that, or if I can watch that again, and then you have that cemented in your head when you're trying to present on a program or come up with some sort of an argument one way or the other on something. It's so cool to have that sort of technology where you can watch on a device. I love it.
I just tell people as well, every Monday now until February, I might be grumpy until about 3 p.m, and I just live off caffeine. My love for coffee increases, but also pumpkin spice is back. So it just makes my life so much better as well. But yeah, I think now with fantasy football and like with my first year too, I'm going to find it just that little bit harder to switch off at like 2:30, 3 a.m. on a Sunday, going into Monday morning, knowing I've got to be in an office in like a few hours. But definitely like the love of the game just like helps you power through, especially on those tough games where you just physically can't shut away from it. You've got to stay up and follow the whole way through.
So true.
Now look, we've had a couple of questions come in and I'm conscious that we're kind of short on time, Claire. I believe you have more people.
We're okay. We're
good. Okay.
Where are you, Hannah?
I am at the NFL UK offices in Leicester Square with OC,
of course.
OC and Jadelle were insisted that they were part of this show somehow. I've got their jerseys behind me.
I love that.
So yeah, I'm right in the centre of London.
I love that.
About slightly west, and I'm guessing you're at the heart of Manhattan, right?
I'm downtown Manhattan. I'm actually at the People opposite.
Oh, you're back.
You're back.
You're back. We lost you, but you came back. Now look, Kate, I'm really interested.
Now we're back. I just wrote it in the comments. Send your questions. Send us your questions.
I've got some questions. I've literally just got handed a phone with some questions.
Oh.
Let's start with a team of yours, one of your teams. I know there's the couple, right? Bears and Saints. How do you see the Saints going? Asks Blake Schindler. How do you see the Saints going in a post-Brees era? And what do you see happening with Michael Thomas?
Yeah, I'm close to the situation. Obviously, my heart is very near and dear to that team, and they've embraced me and been great. I think it all comes down to the coach who sets the tone. I don't think that was Drew Brees. He's an excellent leader, of course, an incredibly consistent, prolific quarterback. But I think they're at their best when they feel like people are against them. I think that comes from their coach, and I think that's going to continue to drive them in a place where they just, their division rivals who they've stomped on year in, year out, just won a Super Bowl with a veteran quarterback named Tom Brady. So I think they've got a lot to prove. I loved seeing, I said this on the show, that I really wanted to see a sign from Michael Thomas. Like, where are you? What are you doing? And him showing up to that game in Baltimore, they had a preseason game, and him being on the sideline there, catching passes from Jameis Winston, standing near his coach really made me feel great. Or a lot better about the situation. I don't know that he'll be available. I think when you have a guy like Taysom Hill who can be lined up anywhere, he might line up at receiver more than we think. I said on TV today that Jameis Winston, I'm riding with him. I think, that's just my faith in the coach Do I think he can, change a Tiger's stripes completely and rid him of his interceptions? Probably not. But I do think the defense is still going to be top 5. I think they have the best running back of the National Football League. When you can rely on those two and have the coach and have those fans, even if they're displaced playing in Jacksonville, playing wherever for how long, they're still going to show up and be a force to be reckoned with.
Ash, do you want to go? I'm trying to collate some more questions from
fab. No worries. I do have a question that I'm actually keen to know the answer on myself, along with kind of everybody else. But is there kind of an interview with anybody that you've had from the league that really like stands out from memory, and that would kind of be like your top interview that you've ever done?
Oh, ever done? I don't know. I've done. Oh man, that's tough. I'll say weird one that stands out to me a lot is David Montgomery. He's a running back for the Bears, and the Bears are big. Yeah, out there. Yeah. And I talked to him, it was after his rookie season, and he was so honest. And usually you don't get, even after a rookie season, you don't get players who are so willing to say some of the things he was saying about what it was like to be in a room with stars like Khalil Mack, and to be around, these like amazing players, and what he knew, what he didn't know. There's like a new wave of honesty that's happening in our league right now, which I appreciate so much, with these players being so open. There's just, it's less about people and more about moments in interviews. Like I remember after Saquon Barkley had terrible injury, I asked him like, tell me about this year. And he said, last year was the best year of my life, because it was such perspective that I shouldn't take anything for granted, that there is adversity, that I have something to prove. And so those like really inspiring moments are probably the ones that get me the most. I have an interview with Patrick Mahomes that'll be on NFL Network on Sunday on game day morning. I got to sit down with him. I knew him a little bit. Texas Tech, obviously followed his career a little bit there, and he's, the best in the game, the best who does it right now, going to 2 straight Super Bowls, trying to make it to his 3rd this year. And I think I a little bit overlooked, because we talk about so many other things, how great he is in front of a camera, and how good he is on the sidelines, and how loose he is. He's just so loose, whether it's in a sit-down interview or on the field or in any situation. He handles himself so well. So recently I interviewed him and was really impressed with that.
Oh, amazing. And is there one person or one player, or it could even be a coach or anything, but is there one person that you haven't interviewed yet, that is kind of like top of your list, and kind of like the next person that you wanna interview?
It's a great question. Maybe like I would love to get like Matt Nagy, just because what are we doing? I know, like, and Matt's wonderful, and I would just love to get in his head. Anytime I can talk to Aaron Rodgers is the best, because even in brief moments, he's so compelling as a character in our league. So him, I'm trying to think of who else. Well, give me ideas. What other coach would it be? Coaches are interesting. Sean McDermott of the Bills is so fun to talk to and so wonderful. But somebody I haven't interviewed, man, I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. I'll get back to you next time I'm on.
I just saw a great comment pop up, and I really wish we'd thought of this when we were naming the show. Someone just said, is this the League of Extraordinary Gentlewomen? And yes, it is. And that should have been my fantasy name, and I have so many regrets. Okay, look, I'm going to squeeze in 2 more questions.
Yeah.
And then we have to wrap it up. So one came in, I didn't see whose name popped up, but I think with myself and Ash on the call, we're both going to be interested in the answer to this. Fantasy, week 1, Rodgers or Stafford?
Oh my gosh. What are we doing? Why? Like, here's my thing. Even on the show, even on like in my thought process for week 1. So like Rodgers or Stafford, like you drafted both of them. Why would you not play the guy you drafted first? I can't get behind that.
There you go.
I don't like to get cute. I will not get cute at all. We don't know what these defenses are. We don't know whatever. There's a reason you drafted Aaron Rodgers wherever you took him, which is clearly pretty early, because you probably went right after Mahomes, Lamar, and Kyler Murray, and maybe Dak Prescott. Then you took him. You have to roll with him. This is the reigning MVP. He's probably going to want to light the world on fire. So I would say, don't get cute. That would be my advice for week 1. Like players, are you going to regret playing, even if Marquez Callaway goes off for the Saints? Like, are you going to regret? Like, how could you really play him over like Julio Jones? You can't do it. So just do it the way you drafted, at least for week 1, and then you sort of know how it'll look.
Very good advice. And also, I'm going to keep doing this. I know you're on a quest to replace the espresso martini in your life. Have you found a new drink?
Oh man, at the US Open, I had something called a honey deuce drink yesterday. Terrible.
Oh.
Come at me. Come at me, US Open. Can't do it. It's too sweet. No, I haven't found a drink yet. People keep sending me, by the way, you've heard it here first. I don't drink tequila. I will never drink tequila. You will never see me drinking tequila. Mezcal, whatever. Reposado, no. Don't. Reposado, no. Not doing any of that. So I'm taking suggestions. I haven't really, I'm grounded this week because I have the kickoff and then I have the Met Gala on Monday that I'm covering here in New York City. So I'm not doing any sort of drink searching lately. Thank you. Just water.
Fine. Water until the Met, and then you can get back on the quest.
Yeah. What's a matcha martini? What is this stuff? I love it. Wow, there's a lot of espresso martini questions. Great.
There are.
It's a good drink, but they are everywhere now. There's nothing worse than a bad one.
I will say I see one question about the Panthers. Somebody from Germany's watching. And I sneaky love the Panthers this year. And I know that that's sort of weird because the Saints are great and the Bucks are probably going to march right back to the Super Bowl. But they've got a young, really feisty defense. I like what they've done. And I really think people are discounting Matt Rule as a Coach of the Year candidate. I chose Sean Payton as my pick. Because if he does it with Jameis and without Michael Thomas, that's really incredible. But Matt Rule, if he can take a 5-11 team from last year and Sam Darnold has something in that he can unleash, they've got really good pieces. Christian McCaffrey should be happy. So look for them to be one of those pain in the butt teams in the NFL this year.
I'm pleased to hear that because I've drafted a fair few Panthers in my fantasy leagues.
There you go.
Hey, are we going to see you over here for our 2 games at the Tottenham Hotspur?
I mean, I think that's up to the people who pay our checks. Like Hannah, you have to start politicking. I'll get my people, my agent, fans out there that are watching. Let's talk about it. Do you, let's figure it out and then get me over there because I would want nothing more. I think Henry Hoxton of NFL Media Group is very keen and very aware of my plans to come hang out with you guys at some point. I still believe, Hannah, you and I should do like a switcherooski. I think it should be like The Holiday with Cameron Diaz and Kate Winslet, where you come and live in my home and go to my job every day and host Good Morning Football, and I come and I get to hang out with OC and company all the time.
Oh, 100%. And I'm glad we've actually put this out there on here because I know we talked about it a lot around filming for Overtime last year, but we never put it out anywhere. So now it's in out. The universe.
Hashtag K-U-K, or how about hashtag U-K-A-Y?
Oh, yes. I love that. We'll get it trending.
We are on it. Kay, thank you so much for being on.
Wait, so tell people about the show. How do I just for my Instagram live? So it's tell people about the platform.
So it's Her Huddle. It's going to be on NFL UK's YouTube. So if you haven't seen this live, you can go on NFL UK's YouTube channel and watch this whole chat in all its glory.
And there'll be new episodes every
week or so. We're working on the schedule at the moment, but they're going to be as regular as everyone's schedules will allow because we've got some very exciting guests that we are. Oh, look, the hashtag's already going. There's some UK people that we're already lining up. So we're just working with schedules. But yeah, there will be more soon. But definitely get on NFL UK's YouTube and we'll be back live.
Okay, thank you guys for watching in the comments and thank you both for having me. Mwah. Enjoy the season. Get some sleep.
Thanks, Kay. Thank you so much. And yeah, everyone, thank you for joining us on the very first Her Huddle with myself and the wonderful Ash. Ash, we did it. And we nailed it with our first guest, right?
I can't believe we did it. How awesome. I feel so privileged to be a part of this and obviously get to meet you as well, work with you, and also the beautiful Kay Adams. I mean, what a privilege. First guest on the show and stuff. So yeah, I think absolutely smashed it.
We are setting that bar high and we're only going to go higher. If you did miss any of this chat, like I said, it is going to be on the NFL UK YouTube. We will be back very, very soon. But in the meantime, guys, enjoy week 1. Football's back.